Really just wanting to focus on some fall reads. I'm loving this. The ending was really good. Hey everyone, it's me Bailey and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a 24-hour readathon. So this video is going to be a very chill 24-hour readathon. I am going to be doing it over 2 days. I'll be doing 12 hours today and 12 hours tomorrow, and I will not be stopping the timer. I'm just going to see how much I can read from 8:15 this morning until 8:15 this evening. It is currently 8:14, so I am getting ready to start the 12-hour countdown timer and just gonna see how much I can read in that time. So the first book that I'm going to be starting with is Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I actually have already started this and I am on page 69, so this is where I'm starting, and it is 8:15 right now, so I am going to go ahead and get started reading Mate, and maybe we will discuss TBR a little bit later, but I feel like the TBR is going to be a little bit looser and really just wanting to focus on some fall reads. So with that, let's go ahead and get on into Mate. Just finished Mate by Ali Hazelwood, and this was fun. I think I'm gonna give it 3.75 stars. I feel like I might have liked Bride a little bit better, but I will say that I feel like I liked the dynamic between Serena and Cohen a little bit better than I did Low and Misery, but I feel like I liked the story overall in Bride a little bit better. But this was so fun, and I feel like it was like just like a really easy, quick read. I will say there were some aspects of the plot that I think just because it's been so long since I read Bride that I didn't really remember, so it took me a minute to kind of like re-understand certain things. But overall, this was so fun, and I definitely recommend these books if you are looking for like a paranormal romance. And yeah, I realize that these will not be for everyone, but if you are a reader of paranormal romance and you like paranormal romance, I definitely recommend checking these out. But now that I've finished with this book, I will be moving on to the next book that I'm going to be reading. So we are about 4 hours into the readathon. We have 7 hours left of today's 12 hours that I was hoping to read. And so with that, I will be starting Servant of Earth by Sarah Howley next. And I am excited to read this. I've heard pretty good things about this. I did hear that this was a trials fantasy, but I've since heard that our main character isn't actually the one that is participating in the trials. So I feel like that'll be a little bit interesting to read about because I don't think I've ever read anything like that. But I do think that I am about to go make some lunch really quickly. It is like 12:30, so I think I'm going to make some lunch and then sit down and start Servant of Earth. I was able to grab the audiobook from my library as well as the ebook from my library, so I will probably be listening to this. And then my ebook was due like super soon, so I think I might be close to playing chicken with that. So I probably will read it on my ebook while I am like eating lunch and stuff. So I'll probably listen to the audiobook while I'm making my lunch and then sit down with my ebook and then switch back to the physical book. But yeah, I'm super excited to start this one. So this will be the next book that I end up picking up for this 24 hours. it is now 4:09 p.m. so I have 4 hours and 6 minutes left of my reading to do today, and I have been reading Servant of Earth by Sarah Howley. I am about halfway through this book. I am currently on page 227, which is the start of chapter 19, and so far I feel like this book isn't really doing anything super crazy for me. Like, I feel like I'm intrigued enough, but it's not one of those ones where I'm like, man, I can't put this down. I feel like it's okay. Like, I feel like the premise is different from a lot of other fantasy books that I've read, but it's also very much the same. So essentially we are following this girl Kenna and her town or whatever in the human realm. They pretty much send an offering to the Fae. I can't remember if it's like every year, every few years, but it's like certain women between the ages of 23 and like 30 or something will go to this essentially like choosing, very similarly to the Hunger Games, where names are picked out of like this giant bowl, and these women will then have to cross what is called a bog to attempt to get to the Fae lands, where it is rumored that they will be treated spectacularly and that they will be rich and marry a prince and do all of the things and just have this wonderful life, and that it's an honor to be chosen. But that isn't exactly what happens, and Kenna's best friend is chosen as one of the 4 girls that is supposed to go to the Fae lands, and Kenna does not like that, so she goes to help assist with getting them there. But unfortunately, Kenna is the only one that makes it to the Fae lands, and while she is there, she ends up being treated completely different than what they have been led to believe in the human realm. She ends up becoming a handmaiden to the princess of the Earth Court. And so they are going through these trials, and every so many years the Fae have these trials that they go through, like the princes and the princesses go through. And so this year it is the Princess of Earth's turn to go through, along with some other princes and stuff from the other courts. And so Kenna is assigned to the Earth Court and is supposed to help their princess complete these trials. And so we're following Kenna as she is helping the princess. And so it sounds very interesting, and like it is, but I don't know. There's just something about it that I'm not really connecting with. I feel like, I don't know. And there is supposed to be like a romance in here. I can't really tell who exactly the romance is supposed to be between. Like, I'm not really rooting for any of the male main characters that Kenna is interacting with, so I don't really know where things are going on that front. And there is this like king that is like this like tyrant king, this ruthless king, and there have been, you know, instances of this king being this like ruthless king, and I don't know, so far it's just fine. Like, it's not anything that's like super spectacular to me, in my opinion. Like, is it a good time? Yes, but is it my favorite fantasy that I've ever read? No. So I want to continue and see how I'm going to feel about the rest of it and how it ends. But at this point in time, depending on how the book ends, I'm not sure if I will want to continue on in the series. And if I do, I'm just not sure if it'll be one that I will continue to purchase and or have on my shelves. It would probably just be one that I would grab from the library, or if it ever gets on Kindle Unlimited, go that route. But yeah, so far it's okay. We'll see how I keep going. I am going to continue reading for the next 4 hours. I feel like today has been really productive. I haven't really wanted to take a nap or anything, so that's really good, but I am going to continue. I would like to finish this before my 4 hours are up, so I'm hoping that based on the speed that I've been going, I think that I can finish this and have like around an hour to spare in the time left for today. So that is where I'm at, and I'm gonna keep reading and I'll update you guys once I have finished Servant of Earth. just finished Servant of Earth. So I have 1 hour and 11 minutes left in the 12 hours for today, and Servant of Earth I just finished. So I will say the ending was really good, and I feel like that was probably my favorite part of this entire book. I felt like it was a little slower. Like, yes, there were trials, and I love a trial fantasy. It's literally like my favorite fantasy trope, but unfortunately this one I just feel like didn't work super well for me. And maybe it was because we were following Kenna and she was going through the trials, but the trials weren't meant for her. So I don't know, but I feel like the ending was really good, and I feel like if what happened at the end might have happened a little bit sooner, or even if this book was like 100 pages shorter, I feel like that would have really helped with my feelings on the story. But I definitely do think that I will continue this series. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't know if I will continue to purchase the books in the series, which of course this one's in paperback, and the next one that comes out is called like Princess of Blood, I think is the next one. Let me double check. Yeah, Princess of Blood is the next book, and it's coming out in hardcover, so it'll be probably a while before it does come out in paperback. So even if I did want to get it, it would be a very long time, probably at least like a couple of years. So we'll see. I definitely feel like I might buy it on my Kindle probably for book 2, so that way whenever it does come out, like I can pick it up. But I don't know, I feel like the ending was so good. But with that, I will be rating this book 3 stars. I feel like it was a solid start to a fantasy series, but like I mentioned, I just felt like it just kind of dragged a little bit and was a little bit too long. But overall, I enjoyed my time reading this, and now that I'm done with this, I will be moving on to the next book. So let's do some TBR talk right about now, because I know I haven't talked my TBR this whole video just yet, but I have been kind of mood reading, and so I did pull a few books that I wanted to get to possibly. And so I have 5 books here that I am interested in, either starting tonight and then hopefully reading tomorrow. But so first we've got Bourbon and Proof by Victoria Wilder. This is the 3rd and final book in the Bourbon Boys series. At least I think it's the final book, but it's the last one that is currently out. And this is a romance that is a bit of like a romantic suspense. Next, I have The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni. This is the 2nd book in the Prison Healer series. I read book 1 at the end of September and absolutely loved it, so I did want to go into book 2. Next is Older by Jennifer Hartman. This again is a bit of like a darker, more taboo romance. This is on my October TBR for the month, so I figured this is an option. Next is Katabasis by R.F. Kuang, and this is one that I will be picking up soon because I do have book club next week, so I do definitely need to read this for that. So I definitely will probably be picking this up maybe tomorrow, but this is not where I'm leaning. But I definitely will be putting this to the top of the priority list for my TBR. And then finally, the one that I do think that I am leaning towards starting tonight is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, and this is on my TBR for October. And for some reason this book is just really calling to me this evening. I feel like it's something that's just a little bit different than what I've been picking up, so I feel like this is the one that I will be starting next. Plus it is pretty short, and I think I can definitely get quite a bit of this read this evening. It's like, is it even 300 pages? I can't even, yeah, it's like 298 pages, so I feel like this one would be short and quick. So I think this is the one that I will be starting with my remaining hour. that means, well, it's 8:16 now, but that means that the first 12 hours is officially over and I am pausing in my read of Wild Dark Shore. So for the last like 50-ish minutes, I was able to do some reading of Wild Dark Shore and I made it to page 75. So this book does not have any chapter headings. It's just like character name headings. So you're following Dom and his 3 kids, and this woman Rowan like washes up on shore and you don't know what she's doing there. You don't know why Dom and his family are there, like what happened, why they've been there for so long. You don't know why she was trying to come to this island and why she washed up. So it's basically just like one big mystery and everyone is suspicious of everyone, especially like Dom and Rowan because like they're the 2 adults mainly. But so far it is pretty interesting because it's like you don't really know what's going on. Like you're getting sort of like some snippets into Rowan and her life before she like washes up on shore, and then obviously you're getting some like thoughts on Dom and like what happened to his wife, and there's like this overarching like thing that has happened to Finn, his daughter, and you don't really know what at this point, and they're the only ones left, and so you're trying to figure out like what happened and what made everyone else leave this island. And I've heard amazing things about this book, so I'm definitely interested to see like where it will be going there towards the end, but I am about 25% into it, and that is where I will be picking up tomorrow with our 12 hours again. So with that, that's my update for tonight, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow for our next 12 hours. Good morning. So it is now 7:58 a.m. and I'm getting ready to start my 12 hours at 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna go from 8 a.m. today until 8 p.m. today and see how much I can read in the next 12 hours. Again, very chill, like we'll just see how much I can read. I'm not gonna be stopping the timer or anything like that, just letting it go all the way through. And if today is anything like yesterday was, I feel like it'll be a really, really good reading day. So first off, we're starting with Wild Dark Shore, where I left off last night on page 75. So I'm expecting to hopefully have this finished before lunchtime and at least like starting on the second book by lunch. I feel like I want to try and tackle Katabasis today as well, but we'll see how I'm feeling once I finish Wild Dark Shore. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the 12 hours up on the clock, and once it hits 8 o'clock, I will start the timer. Just finished Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, and we are sitting at 9 hours and 34 minutes left in the 12 hours for today. And so it's probably been about 2.5-ish hours that it took me to finish this book, and I don't think this was a book for me. I thought it was just okay. Like the mystery element, I don't know, it was very anticlimactic to me, and just everything about it just was like, I don't know, just very like mid, and I felt like it was kind of boring. Like obviously the beginning started off really good, where it was like this woman comes to this island, you don't know what she's doing there, and then like the further we get into it, like the less interested I became, and I didn't really care to know about like what they were doing there or why they were there or like anything about it. Like I just was like, So with that, I think I'm gonna give this book like 3 stars. I can understand the appeal. I can understand why people do like it. There is a bit of a romance in there, and there's some reveals that I feel like were, you know, a little shocking, but like, I don't know, it just wasn't for me. Like I just feel like it wasn't fantastic in my opinion. Now, there are people who love this book and I can totally understand why they would, but I don't know, I just didn't really really love the writing style either, and just like the story itself just wasn't really for me. So I don't know, 3 stars to this. But now that I'm finished with this, I will be moving on to the next book, which I am a little bit concerned about since I did just finish that book and I didn't exactly love it. And that is going to be Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. I'm hoping that I can finish this today. I don't know. I am very nervous about this book. I am hoping that it does not read like a textbook. I've only ever read one other book by R.F. Kuang, and it was her Yellowface book, which was obviously a little bit more contemporary fiction than fantasy or historical fiction. So I'm definitely a little bit nervous about this one. So this is what I will be going into next and starting this. So I have 9.5 hours to finish this book. So I'm going to go ahead and get on into it, and fingers crossed I'm going to enjoy it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to reading, and I will update you guys once I have an update on Katabasis. It is just after 1 o'clock and I have just under 7 hours left, and I am taking a pause in Katabasis to eat some lunch, but I have made it to page 205, which is chapter 13, and I'm glad that I stopped here because it kind of ended on like a little bit of a cliffhanger, because Peter and Alice had to like choose between the 2 apples, and so I don't know which one Alice chose. Like I have obviously an inkling, but so basically, if you don't know, so going into the premise of this book we're following Alice and Peter, and they are like academic rivals, and they have to go into hell to save the soul of their professor. And so this is based off of Dante's Inferno. So you have like the 8 layers of hell, or however many layers there are. Yeah, you have the 8 layers of hell. And so Alice and Peter are essentially going through each layer trying to find their professor, and you're getting some glimpses into who their professor was, like in the eyes of them, as well as how he was very like toxic and just very not a great person. And so Alice feels like it was her fault that their professor has died, because she was in the room and she said that she like accidentally drawn the pentagram wrong, and so because of her mistake he is now dead. So now she feels responsible and it feels like she needs to be the one to go get him. And this like professor literally has been pitting Peter and Alice against each other, and it's made them like rivals, of course, but it seems like their thoughts about this professor are vastly different from each other. It seems like Alice kind of more puts him on a pedestal versus Peter, who is really just trying to gain as much knowledge from him as he can, but still thinks that like it's not like he's not a great guy. And so they're doing this together, trying to like find him, but we're mostly in Alice's point of view. Like I don't want to say mostly, but we are in Alice's point of view, and you can just tell how like selfish of a person she is. And so while Peter is helping her, she sees it as her like doing it for her own gain and like trying to essentially like take advantage of him basically. And I don't know, she's just very like selfish. And so I'm definitely interested to see the way that this will turn into like rival celebrities, and I'm hoping that she has a lot of character growth in this, because the way that she is like coming off to me is very like self-centered and like pretentious and just very like annoying in my personal opinion. And I feel like I really like Peter, and I feel like he seems very like cognizant of what is going on around him, and like he just seems very like aware. And I can't really say the same about Alice. She seems very like conceited basically. And so yeah, I don't know. So far I'm enjoying it. It is faster and slower than I would have thought. So with us being 200 pages in, they are currently in the greed section. So they are in the 3rd level. So they are like, they're making it pretty fast. And I will say they did get to hell like in the 1st chapter. Like they go to hell almost instantly in this, which I feel like was very like refreshing. And so yeah, I'm definitely interested to see like where it's gonna continue to go from here on out. I feel like it's not reading reading like a textbook. I feel like I'd heard that complaint with like Babel, that Babel read very much like a textbook, and I don't feel like that is necessarily the case for this. I feel like, yes, there are some points that are very like textbook sounding because of like some of the things that they start talking about. It's very like high academic, but for the most part, like I feel like it's pretty digestible. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to love this book, but we will see. I'm enjoying it so far, and like I mentioned, I am going to take a break now to eat some lunch, and then I will pick up here soon. So with that, that is my update for now, and I will talk to you guys again probably after I've eaten and read some more of Katabasis. So I now have 1 hour and 51 minutes left until the 24 hours is officially over, and I just finished Katabasis by R.F. Kuang, and honestly I don't know what I want to rate this book. I feel like it was a lot. Like, it was fun because of the whole like premise, but I feel like the execution was just a bit much. Like, I feel like this book was so very like big brained that I found myself sometimes having problems like understanding what was going on, but like not in a bad way. It just was like there were certain things that just weren't clicking in my brain, and I understood some of the references because like in an English class in college, I want to say, I think I took like a literature class, and I think we had to read Dante's Inferno, or maybe it was like in high school or something, I don't know, but I do remember like that aspect, so I was able to like kind of, you know, understand that portion of it. But for the most part, like I felt like this was just a lot, and I definitely don't recommend reading this book in one sitting. Like that was not a good idea on my part. Like, yes, I did enjoy this book, but I just don't know if I loved it. So with that, I think my rating for this book is going to be a 3.5 star. I feel like this is a book for someone, just not necessarily my favorite. I definitely understand the hype behind it though, because I feel like the overall premise itself was really fun and really good. I just feel like the execution for me, it was the writing style for me that I just particularly didn't love. And I feel like the more that I think about it, I feel like the more that like it'll sit in my brain, and then I'll start to really be like, oh my goodness, like that's what that meant, or like, oh, I remember when this happened, okay, now it's starting to like click. So I don't know, I would recommend this book still. I think I just would not recommend reading it in one sitting. So love that for me, but I'm happy to have finished this. And now with us only having like 2 hours left, or just under 2 hours left, I am trying to decide, do I want to start something new? So I have been reading Face Off by Chelsea Curto, but I haven't wanted to put that book in this vlog because I feel like it wasn't really like fall coded. So, or like my October TBR. So I was trying to mainly tackle my like fall TBR and my October TBR in this 24 hours, and that book is not on there. That's just like strictly a mood read. So I'm feeling like I might actually want to pick up Bourbon and Proof for the next like 2 hours, and then worry about finishing Face Off like tomorrow and whatnot. So I think that's what I might end up doing. I am getting ready to feed Navy. So I will be starting it after that. So we'll see how much I can really actually get read. I feel like now that I'm so close to the end, and I just finished something, I feel like I'm kind of wanting to kind of give up on it a little bit because I feel like I've done what I need to do, but there's still 2 hours, so I'm gonna see how much I can read in those 2 hours, and I will update you guys again probably to close out this vlog. So our 12 hours is up and I was able to make pretty good progress in Bourbon and Proof, and so far I'm loving this. It is a marriage of convenience, which I love, especially when it's done right. And I feel like this one is so good because it's like he has been secretly pining for her for years, and like yeah, so now they have to get married and I'm eating it up. So I am probably actually not gonna put this down tonight. I probably will continue reading this once I hang up with you guys, but literally I am loving this. So I made it to page 177. So like I said, I made a pretty decent chunk of the way through this. So I'm currently on chapter 16 and I will be reading some more of this before I go to bed tonight because I will be up for like another hour and then I'll be getting ready to go to bed because it is a work night. But yeah, I'm absolutely eating this up. So happy that I decided to pick this one up. But I will say this readathon was very successful. I was able to read 4 books to completion and start another one. So 5 books that I touched in this video total. So I feel like that's really good. I feel like my more like relaxed, chill 24-hour readathons are usually when I get the most reading done. Like obviously my last one where I stayed up all night, I very much realized that that is not the method that I need to do. So I feel like this one worked pretty well where I did 12 hours yesterday, 12 hours today, and saw how much I could read over 24 hours. I was able to touch 5 books in that span. So I feel like that was really, really good. And yeah, so that is all for today's video. If you liked it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. If you have made it to this point in the video, leave the ring emoji for Bourbon and Proof and their marriage of convenience. And thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!